Hello and welcome back. I'm Rahul, I'm a translator, and I'm showing you some different skills that might help you to translate a poem and enter it into the Stephen Spender Poetry Prize, Translation Prize, and even win some money. If you want to find out more information about that prize, you can visit the Stephen Spender Trust website or watch the first video in this series for a bit more detailed information. In the last video, we translated the title of our poem. Today, we're going to look at how we begin our actual translations. We call this a first draft or a rough draft. Now, the way I would do this would be to keep it really simple. Once you've got your poem in whatever language you're using, whether it's one of the poems we recommended or a poem you found yourself, translate it simply word by word and line by line without worrying too much if it sounds good at all or if it makes sense. It's like doing a sketch before you do the final painting. Once you've chosen your poem, translate each line as quickly as you can, stopping to look up words that you don't know already. For Spanish, I recommend the Cambridge Dictionary, so Google Cambridge Spanish English Dictionary. Right, so I'm going to literally translate the first stanza line by line. I'm not going to look up all the words now to make it quicker, okay? But you should make sure that you know what all the words mean. Don't try and guess, okay? Right, so we've got the title already. Flying horses, lovely flying horses. Okay, so we can use that for the first line as well. The second line I also covered in the last video. Little horses of wood. Caballitos is little horses of wood. Very literal. Yo conocí siendo niño. Again, I knew being a child. Okay, it sounds a bit strange, but that's what it says literally in Spanish. La alegría de dar vueltas. The happiness, la alegría de of, which we've already had here, and dar vueltas means to turn or to spin around. Sobre un corcel colorado. Corcel is another word that means horse, so we need to find a different word for horse. So I found the word steed, which is a kind of more literary way of saying horse. So upon, sobre un corcel colorado, red steed. En una noche de fiesta, on a night of party. Okay? So there we go. We've done our first draft of the first verse. Now let me read it out again so you can hear the way it sounds. Flying horses, lovely flying horses, little horses of wood, I knew being a child the happiness of turning round upon a red steed on a night of party. It could be better, I think. Okay? There are some basics, all the basics are there. Okay? We know it's about a horse in the playground, a carousel horse, a fairground. We know it's about being a child. There are some real stinkers in there too. Let's have a little look, okay? So, I don't think that's a very good line. The happiness of turning around. And I don't think that's a very good line either. On a night of party. What does that even mean? However, there are some quite good lines. Little horses of wood. Sounds perfectly nice. And upon a red steed, I think that sounds very poetic. I think it's very grand sounding, very heroic. So there we go. That's our rough translation. We know the things about it that are good and the things about it we have to improve to make our translation good enough to enter into the prize. So here's a summary of my rough translation. Firstly, it makes sense. Basically, it makes sense. You understand what it's talking about. Some bits sound quite good. Some bits don't even make sense, let alone sound actually good. And the whole thing needs to sound more like a poem, okay? So a rough translation is there to help you begin planning your translation. So don't worry if the results aren't great. It's important that you do this yourself so that you actually understand firsthand what it means. However, it's hard to deny the existence of Google Translate, and I think it's worth having a look at Google Translate as well. So let's see what Google Translate says and see if our rough translation is better or worse. So if we go back to our PowerPoint, find our poem, paste it, back to Google, there we go. So this is what Google says. Pegasus, cute Pegasus, wooden horses. I knew as a child the joy of spinning on a red horse on a party night. Well, I think mine is better. For example, it's missed out the ito, which means little. Okay, so it's actually missed the whole bit. So I think we're already ahead of Google Translate, which can only be a good thing. And I now understand it all because I've done it myself. Okay, that's a rough translation, and I'll see you in the next video.